Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 40 Days with Henry. Today's passage is from With Open Hands. This is Nouwen's first book on prayer. I think it was written in 1971, or it was published then. Interestingly about this book, so Nouwen in the introduction talks about how this book is not just his alone, that it is drawn out of conversations that he had with some theology students, 25 theology students from a university or a seminary in the Netherlands. And they would gather around a table and they would talk about prayer, about what helped prayer, what aided prayer, what was frustrating about prayer, how they understood prayer, and the things like that. So that's what this book is. So, Henry writes, "To be calm and quiet by yourself is not the same as sleeping. In fact, it means being fully awake and following with close attention every move going on inside of you. It requires the discipline to recognize the urge to get up and go as a temptation to look elsewhere for what is really close at hand. It offers the freedom to stroll through your own inner yard and to rake up the leaves and clear the path so you can easily find the way to your heart. Perhaps there will be fear and uncertainty when you first come upon this unfamiliar terrain, but slowly and surely you will discover an order and a familiarity which deepens your longing to stay at home with yourself." So I just think this passage is, I think it's lovely. I think it's wonderful. And again, it follows along with our other passages that we've done. And I know that we're just starting with 40 Days with Henry, but it picks up that, that boredom and that silence and solitude and, uselessness and silence, which is the heart of all prayer that we read last time. And this kind of follows along. And I don't know if that says more about what I struggle with in my spiritual life, or if this is something that we all struggle with. I dare say I think it probably is. But I love that this passage kind of moves the ball forward as well, because I think sometimes we can think that the place of silence and solitude, and I should say silence and solitude is a recurring theme for Nouwen, but we can think of that place of being silent before God and connecting to God in silence and having that place reserved for God alone, that is about inactivity. That's about doing nothing. And Nouwen actually wants to say that that's not actually the case. If we think of it as just about, passivity and about inaction and being inert and all that, then that actually causes us to be tempted to get up and go and to fill that moment with something else. Again, all the way back to intimacy, getting that kick that will define that moment. See, Nouwen wants to say that it's actually something a little bit different. This place where we connect with Jesus in the silence of our lives, where we stop. It's not about being inactive. He says it's actually being fully awake. It's about being so attentive, paying close attention to every move going on inside of you. So you take your attention, and what Nouwen is saying is that you take it inward, not in a selfish kind of way, but so that you can really look at what your relationship is with Jesus. Where is Jesus in your life? What is Jesus doing? He talks about, when we do this, we allow ourselves to clear out the cobwebs, to clear out the yard. We kind of map our inner landscape. We are able to see what in our lives gets in the way of our relationship with Jesus. And so this place of silence and this place of solitude, having that moment, whether it's a minute or an hour or a day or going on a retreat or whatever, but taking that time to stop, which is part of what Lent calls us to do. But taking that time isn't about sleeping. It's not about twiddling our thumbs. It's not about inactivity. It is about being so deeply focused and looking for Christ's presence in our lives. And what that does, Nouwen says, it gives us a sense of home within ourselves. It might not make frustrations go away, it might not make struggles disappear, but when we are able to quiet ourselves so that we connect with Jesus, it puts everything else in our lives in correct order. And it stops the restlessness. So I pray that that's your experience. As maybe you experiment with this time of stillness and focus and looking to Jesus' presence without the demand to do, may you find the settledness that comes from being home in your connection with the Lord. God bless you as you go through this 40 days with Henri, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.